Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Animaking 2. And today I'm going to be giving you part 22 of What If Naruto was put through hell and adopted by the Raikage. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto was abandoned and awakened a Genkai on this channel, and enjoy that guys. And over in Making 3, I post a brand new episode of What If Naruto was exiled from the Osusuke clan, so go ahead and enjoy that as well. And I also posted a brand new episode of What If Naruto was neglected with Jashin sealed inside of him, so go ahead and enjoy that as well guys. And yeah, remember if you're new to go ahead and check out the 3 channels, Anime King, Anime King 2, Anime King 3, which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So without further ado, what is to begin this new episode start? The intro. So, the last time we left off, Naruto was missing, as no one could find him. Minato had come and Minato had taken him away from his quarters, where he was sleeping. Yujito was losing it, but B and the others were able to calm her down as they made their way towards Kumo to get Kuro, so he can re-summon Naruto back here rather quickly. While all of that was going on, Naruto was being chained down. So many chains on top of him, and not to mention Kushina was on top of the chains as Minato performed the unsealing. As that was happening, a fox appeared to Naruto. As the fox told him that after everything he would have went and destroyed Kumo because of what he did and locked him away for so long. But the fox made Naruto a deal. He would give Naruto a power, as he mentioned something about the Sharingan, and Naruto would come and free him afterwards, as he told him to honor the deal. As Naruto told him that he will. The fox then did something to him, as Naruto found himself in darkness. That is when he saw a hologram of the third, as he left a pre-recorded message for Naruto, as everything went black. The Nine Tails was then sealed inside the baby, and Yamato took it. And with that, Minato took Kushina and made his way toward the sound to find their daughter. With that out of the way, some moments later, Kushina had woken up. She did not remember anything as she was back to normal. With the fox chakra no longer tainted her, she was completely back to normal, no longer acting like a psychopath. As she was confused, the last thing she remembered was Minato fighting off against the demon fox. As she didn't know what else happened, Minato had a choice now on what to tell her and what to tell her what happened. He had all the cards in his hand. Meanwhile, at Konoha, as Yamato arrived, it was revealed that Danzo was behind everything. Danzo wanted the Nine Tails and know that he had it back because the baby was brought to him that he was going to use and train it from an early age, and he would blame every single thing on Minato. As Danzo smirked, everything was working out perfectly for him. With that, Naruto woke up back, as he was so exhausted he could barely move. He couldn't really do anything, he felt weak, exhausted. And he was taken though. He was taken by who he did not know. When he woke up he found the great snake sage. As Manda came there, the snake sage spoke to Naruto before crushing him. Manda thought he was dead, but the snake did not crush Naruto. Instead, he said that he would train Naruto, and when he becomes strong enough, only then will he let him out, as Naruto had nothing else to do but accept. Time passed 3 years, as Jiraiya came to inform the Raikage that Yujito was taken by the Akatsuki. Given the descriptions that the Raikage laid out, that the team came back and tell him Yujito was taken. Many things happened in the past 3 years. Many people were still in denial. Many people were depressed of what happened to Naruto. It hurt a lot of people as Jiraiya went out. Jiraiya met Zabuza, who came here because the envoy for the Mist Guy came to talk to the Raikage, and Jiraiya was told by Zabuza that he met a boy. Well, someone. The person was wearing a mask so he couldn't see their face, but they had snakes, as Anko was in the village Kumo. As she was a part of the program, she had thought that Naruto would be alright at home, but when she found out that he was gone, and when they finally found the place months later, Her mind finally accepted reality after seeing all that blood, which was his and his body gone. And after 3 years of nothing, he was gone. Meanwhile, Yujito was captured, and she just gave up after all. It's been a long time coming, but she was saved by someone who was able to single-handedly handle Kakazo and Hidan before taking her. When she woke up, she saw him, but she couldn't recognize who he was, as it was none other than Naruto. He had changed. He had changed a lot, his hair, his entire personality, his appearance. Not to mention he was with two snakes who could talk, as he told her that he would bring her back to Kumo, as he wanted something. As he put her back to sleep, as her body needed to rest after what happened to her. So yeah guys, so basically that's what I thought. If you guys can switch across the place, check out for yourself. So let's begin this new episode. We begin this new episode at Konoha. Danzo frowned. The report was disturbing, but not too much. It just meant that the Akatsuki was a true problem. If Kumo lost all of his Jinjulkis, it will be still strong, but against the enemies that has one, no. Konoha needed strong allies. From what he heard this time, Jinjulki had calmed down. He had calmed down after the siege of Konoha. The fear of those chains had changed him for the better. It was a strange thing that the boy had become the Kazekage, a strong shinobi, but he would quiver and hide if he saw a red-haired Kunoichi with chains. Once they discovered that even the sight of a red-haired woman made him jumpy, they tried to break that out of him. Blacksmiths, along with red-haired eye, as they were able to calm him down much. It seemed like it had scarred him what Kushina did to him, but he was starting to gain back some sense of calmness. Now, it was time to open up to the other countries, like the Mist or the Stone. The Hidden Stone had been in great regards. The Tishikage even sent Danzo a fine wine, saying congratulations of taking care of the fourth Hokage. The wine was obviously poison, but at least it was the thought that counted, as Danzo read the appointment that he had. A meeting was taking place today. It was a meeting of the Land of the Iron. But why now? He already released the Jinjulki before time, and it wasn't his fault that the Jinjulki got taken by Minato. The secretary walked inside, followed by the representative from the Land of Iron, as he was dressed in a samurai armor. Hokage-sama, I have come concerning the transfer of the Jinjulki from Kumo to Konoha, and its return. Danzo frowned. He did send a letter about the release to the Land of Iron, didn't he? I am sure there was a misunderstanding. He was given back 3 years ago. We do not have him any longer. The man shook his head. The Kyuubi has not reappeared anywhere in the world. That means, Hokage-sama, there is still a Jinjulki of the Kyuubi. Thus, you have to return the Jinjulki of the Kyuubi to Kumo. That much is stated in the contract. A lost weapon must be found and returned. Danzo frowned at that. Surely you understand that we have no way to... The man cut him off. You may speak to Kumo and arrange a way, maybe a joint research with the Jinjulki in question. As long as it is found and given to Kumo, as long as you search together with Kumo, we will make no remarks. And unluckily, the contract is binded to the position. As Danzo clenched his fists, even as a missing S-rank nin, Minato, managed to get on his nerves, as he couldn't get out of the contract because of what that idiotic man signed. Is there anything else? Well, there is. Mifune-sama has deemed worthy of sending the Iron Land Examiner to work together with a group seeking the Kyuubi Jinjulki. He should be reaching Kumo as we speak. His name is Tarna. He's an expert tracker, which suggests a 4-man cell with Tarna as a 5th man. But he will not intervene with shinobi from other countries, only missing names and bandits. Danzo nodded. Well, if the Land of Iron want to waste a man, that didn't bother him. He would just give them a couple people for them to go on this wild goose chase. That wasn't his problem, as he already had everything under control, and he was going to keep it that way no matter what. I will appoint a meeting with the Raikage to discuss it as soon as possible. Land of Iron will be informed as soon as possible as well. As the man excused himself, Danzo turned towards the window. The village of Konoha was growing strong and mighty. Shinobis were trained. Orphans became root. The village was growing high and tall. Yet he knew it was going to need more power, more strength, and that would come from the young 3-year-old girl that was being trained. She needed to grow though. He had found the perfect way. The hero water for the village was destroyed, together with a source being clogged by an entire mountain, plus a river. But Danzo knew that deep down, The hero water was still being formed. He just needs some time to extract it. 3 years to be precise. The water lay in a small crystal glass hidden within a storage jutsu. First though, the girl had to lose all her emotions, kill her best friend, her mother, and then she would be a silent tool for him to use towards his will. Silent and deadly, like the beast that she harbored inside of her. To think her real mother was walking on the street, together with her stupid husband, both of them still in mourning. Sakura Haruna has reached Chunin level. Well, I could send her. Extraordinary display abilities in medical ninjutsu, overwhelming strength, and arrogant personality. She also holds feelings for Naruto. Yakumo Kurama, Chunin rank, specialty in genjutsu, real ones. Holds feelings for the previous Kyuubi Jinchuriki as well. Danzo chuckle. Well, Naruto-chan, you were surely the heart stealer, somewhere in the training ground. As a girl stood there gazing at the 3 wooden poles, she recalled the first memory of when she was a lousy yellow girl, on the team with Katsumi and Sasuke, and then that boy appeared in front of them, saying that he was gonna do their exam. But then she didn't think that he was that strong, and they all went out to attack him. As she remembered the stupid thing she wanted to do to Katsumi, the boy yelling at her, Katsumi forgiving her, when she had shown her true colors. As her mind went through every single thing, Tsunade becoming her teacher, the boy telling her to work and gain her own strength, which she did. As she released a sigh, now she stared at the wooden log, which she had been tied up. She hadn't been tied hard. It was barely a knot. He didn't want to harm her. As she thought about him, no, he was gone. He died a bloody mess under chains and shackles, killed by his own parents, a brutal killing. As she clenched her fist tight, as she punched the wooden log in front of her, it was obliterated to nothing but sawdust. That is where Kakashi found her, and he waited for her to finish, shorten out her emotion, while the Genins would get some missions of placing new logs. He landed down. Something's happening, he said. No, it's just... The 10th of October is coming, and it was Katsumi-chan's birthday, said Sakura in a whisper. And then I thought about Naruto too, since they were twins. Think his family would do that to him. His family. I shouldn't dwell on the past, but it's just so hard to forget about it. I know the feeling, said Kakashi, as he was personally hurt. To know that Minato and Kushina were the one behind this. It was painful, incredibly so. Hey, how's Rin-san doing? Asked Sakura, snapping from his thoughts. She knew that they had something going on. Fine. She had suddenly suggested that I stop reading my books and take on a new collection of a horror collection. As Kakashi shivered, remembering how horrifying those stories were. Oh, that famous author from Land of Iron. My mother can't seem to stop reading those books, even though she always gets jumpy at night. Anyway, the Hokage has called us to his office. We're already 20 minutes late, he said. Sakura eye twitched as she punched his book that he had in his hand, obliterating it. My book, he whined. He actually let her do that to steam off. But it was an autograph edition. What was he gonna do now? We can't have the Hokage wait, Kakashi-sensei. Come on, let's go, she said. Meanwhile, Yakumo was fidgety. At best, she had been called into the office. Maybe it was because of what she did, creating an illusion of Naruto. She just had to see his smile. She needed him to be there and say that she had grown as a kunoichi, that her appearance were fine. If the Hokage found out and ordered not to, she would have to beg him to reconsider. It was her way of coping, and it wasn't all that bad. Who could have spied on her though? She only did it when she was alone at late nights. He was her best friend even when dead, and she didn't want to lose him, not even to Shinigami. So she stood and waited for 25 minutes straight, Danzo writing on his desk. As he kept on looking at the clock as he looked over some papers, the door finally swung open. We're sorry we're late, Hokage-sama. Kakashi-sensei had a hard time finding me. Danzo simply nodded as he gestured for them to close the door, as he activated privacy seals. It has come to the attention of the Land of Iron that we no longer have the Kyuubi Jinchuriki he spoke, nor does Kumo. But we haven't taken proper care of reading the contract of the Land of Iron, given the fact that we gave him back without properly escorting him before the term had finished. Since he never reached home, he never officially passed back to Kumo. But he died midway. His body, said Kakashi. Yes, but the Kyuubi never reappeared once in his 3 years, said Danzo. which means that someone somewhere holds it hostage, or holds the Jinchuriki of the beast. Wait, said Yakumo. So there's a chance that he might be... No, said Kakashi. He's dead. I saw the corpse, I checked it, it was him. That monster killed him. He probably took the Kyuubi and placed it inside Yuji's child. What's the point of him stealing a baby? That must be the reason. As Danzo nodded with a small grimace. Anyway, the Land of Iron sent a tracker to Kumo to help them track the Jinchuriki down, and we're supposed to assist in the operation if we wish not to infringe on the contract made, and for that, you have been chosen. He pointed at the two girls. You, on the other hand, Kakashi Hatake will escort the two girls, Sakura Haruno and Yakumo Kurama to Kumo, to make sure that they arrive properly. Kakashi raised an eyebrow. Why them? And why not the tracking team? Like her nice one. Who said I'm not sending them too, Hatake-san? Why they will work specifically? These two Kunoichi will work with Kumo to keep up the alliance, by any means possible. So, we're the token ninjas, assigned to the tracker. So the iron, contract whole, said Sakura. Yakumo gazed went sideways. For all the training that she did, she was just being used. If you wish to think of it that way, then yes. But you can prove everyone wrong, and find him first. What if it end up into a enemy village? Asked Yakumo. The tracker of the Iron Land has a permit. As long as you follow his every move, you should get in no harm. This will be a B-level prolonged mission for you too, and a C-level escort for you, Kakashi. Do not betray my expectations by all means. Complete the mission. With those final words, he dismissed them all. How ironic, he thought, that what they're seeking is right under their noses. Time skip. At the hidden sound. So, explain. Why do we have to go with him to get the Iron Land tracker? Asked Samira, as she narrowed her eyes at Kabuto. The girl with blue flowing hair had grown in certain areas. A slight chest increased, and she has grew a few inches, as she was wearing a sleeveless jersey with a ninjato on her back with a pullover. She was kind of horrible when it comes to her fashion sense, but no one commented about it. Because, Samara-chan, Orochimaru-sama needed a tracker for his purposes, and to track down your brother. Don't you want that? Being a neutral entity, he won't attack you. You just have to push him to follow you, and you're the best one to do that. After all, you're the best talker, and you will be with Karen and TY-chan. I don't see how he can do anything. If you were worrying about him making a move on you... Kabuto was cut off as she pulled out her kunai. If he does try anything, I am castrating him. Kabuto nodded. Well, until I get my brother back safe and sound, she said. Right now I got no time for love, and he was the reason I could get closer to my brother. Sharingan or not, I don't see why Orochimaru-sama believed that we need him. Kabuto shook his head. Are you questioning? Never, she said. I will cooperate with him, but I can't guarantee that he will come back in one piece. If he tries anything, being all touchy-touchy, got it? Fine by me, Kabuto said. After all, Orochimaru wouldn't be bothered by a body without that part. What did he use it for anyway? Meanwhile, Orochimaru sneezed. Someone was making jokes about him. Shaking her head, Karen, who was next to Samara for this entire time, mulled over the thought. But what if they gave the Kyuubi to someone else? Wouldn't that mean that Karen ducked, as she forgot that Samara was right there, as the ninjato sliced off a couple inches of Karen's hair? If you say that again, I will kill you, said Samara. Sorry, he's still alive and kicking, right? So strong that he can hide from everyone, but not you. As Samara blushed at that. Yeah, she said. Well, he's out of the village, waiting for you to depart, said Kabuto. And calm down, Samara-chan, your brother wouldn't want you to have wrinkles because of stress, now would he? She blushed slightly again, before excusing herself with Karen, as they went to fetch TY and their supplies. They arrived towards TY chambers as they knocked. What the hell do you want? I'm busy. Come back later. They heard muffled cries. We have to convince the Land of Iron tracker to come with us. You've always wanted to get your hand on a samurai, haven't you? Said Karen. They heard something snap and crying, and then TY exited the room. Why didn't you say that sooner, Cherry? I'm tired of small fries. I need to find someone that can last. Maybe because you're a bit too excessive, said Karen. Shut it, said TY, as with that they made their way. Once they got their things and exited the village, they saw him. He has black hair, a white shirt, with a strange rope tied around his waist, and purple trousers. Sasuke rolled his eyes seeing them. Orochimaru had a wicked sense of humor. They were just gonna slow him down. He had trained harshly for the past 3 years, so that he could find and defeat his brother, and now he had to go and find a tracker and used his eyes to convince him to return back to the village with them. The Iron Line tracker was said to be a good one. Perhaps he can also track down Itachi, and then he can finally have his revenge. The true purpose was to convince the man to follow them, but Genjutsu was going to be the key to that if he tried to refuse. That is why he was on this team. But he didn't see their purpose. He had the Sharingan. He had the best Genjutsu. So he didn't see why these girls were with him. Whoa, it's the last of the Uchiha. Jump away from his brooding gaze, said Samara, as Sasuke eyed twitch. Once he discovered who she really was, he had been shocked. Just a couple months with Orochimaru had made her strong. And now, with 3 years of training, they both were strong. But he was obviously stronger. Well, they haven't had a fight yet to prove anything. Samara-chan, remember, he's a team captain, said Karen, as she felt the boy's chakra. It was dark, and it was cold. It wasn't like Samara's brother. His chakra was warm and bright and comforting. For comics sake, let's get on moving. I want to see that samurai, said Tiwaya. Let us go, Sasuke said. But remember, I'm the one in charge. As he turned and made their way towards Kumo. Meanwhile, at an unknown place. Children, I'm home. Kushina Namikaze smiled as she entered the wooden cottage in the hidden rain, where many boys and girls were inside. As she was the head of the orphanage, the city was a refugee one, and together with her and her husband they brought up this cottage from nothing up to something where kids can have a proper home. The money came from Minato Namikaze and his work with his colleagues, while she couldn't do it anymore. She had wanted to stop being a ninja after giving birth. But when Minato told her what happened on that night, she was shocked. They had twins, and one of them were given the 9 tails. Because of Danzo's orders, he tricked the third to do it that way. Minato was the one that prevented the boy from becoming a mindless weapon using his Hokage authority, but Danzo had wormed his way through the council for years, and they took away the boy because of what Danzo did. And Minato couldn't do anything to stop it. She had still had Katsumi at the time. A couple years later they had found Naruto. But Danzo had changed him completely into a mindless weapon. He was no longer her son. He faked it though, to be brought back in the family, but he forged documents to have Minato be removed from his position as Hokage. He did horrible things. And though she loved him and she wanted to take him back as her son, he did horrible things to her, using poisons to make her go mad. And she snapped. She nearly killed her own, assigned Jennings and Anvus. Minato had done his best to protect her and Katsumi, but the boy had destroyed everything on a mission to Taki, and he made Danzo associates kidnap Katsumi and gave her to Orochimaru, that snake monster. Katsumi was still alive, but she no longer recognized them. They traveled through the land of sound in disguise repeatedly, but they couldn't find her. They had moved to the rain and they started a new life. Minato had done his best to make her feel comfortable, and she was grateful. She couldn't help but cry sometimes though, thinking about how much trouble Naruto has caused in the family, and Minato could not forgive him for what he did. She wanted to rip Danzo apart, that was for sure, but on her son now, she had conflicted emotions. He had been the cause of all their pain, but he was their son, and Danzo was the one controlling him. He was just a victim in all of this. Although Minato said that the boy had willingly followed Danzo for power because he was jealous how they treated Katsumi, saying that they treated Katsumi better than him. She couldn't recall much. Every time she tried to remember, she got a blinding headache. Minato was the one to fill in all the gaps for her, but she did remember Katsumi's face. Twin red ponytails, bright eyes. Bright beautiful eyes and a big smile. But she couldn't recall Naruto's face at all though. To fill the gap, she had taken on an orphanage, as she took in many children from the Hidden Rain. The Hidden Rain was a village of refugees, and many of them live in poverty, some of them having nowhere to go, so she took them in. Today we get stew. Believe it, she said, as the children jumped in surprise and happiness. As her assistant Conan was already at work, the girl had a thing for making paper origami. Thank you, Conan-chan. I don't know what I would do without you. As Kushina started to skin the rabbits. If there wasn't enough money by the end of the month, hunting was a good way to get food on the table. It's not a problem, Kushina-chan. I always enjoy helping out others who have a rough life. As Kushina smiled, you think Minato and Nagato-kun is gonna come home soon? As she couldn't believe that she found a lost cousin inside the Hidden Rain. I suppose. They said that it will take a while for them to catch that missing name. Something about him using strange, meteor-like chakra. I doubt there is anything those two can't do together. Makes me feel jealous sometimes. As Conan simply laughed gently, the elder children set the table. As the two females enjoy cooking and talking, Kushina just hopes someday in his travel that Minato will find Katsumi and bring her home. Meanwhile, the Nibijin Julki didn't seem to know the word silence. She tried to ask hundreds of questions, to get to know about him, to know who he is. Well, at least she stopped trying to ask his name because he wouldn't tell her. Please, can I have some silence, the man said. No, I am your ticket to get the truth of waterfall training. You could have at least acted kindly. Sage-san, she said. As she wanted to know if he was a sage, she waited to see how he reacted, but he did not. You still can't walk, do you? He asked. He knew that she could walk, but she insists on a piggyback ride. Well, it was faster, because it only took him 2 days. No, I'm a wounded kitten, she said. I can't walk yet. Cool, wounded kitten coming home, said a voice behind them, as Daru and B were on the point of frustration and desperation. 3 days had passed and she did not come home, and from what Jiraiya told them, if that happened, she was most likely dead from having the Nibe removed from her. Yo, we thought you would kick the bucket, yet you're coming home with a man. Bro, it's gonna be a surprise and kick the rack, but at least you're safe. The man released her as she landed right on her feet. Huh, so you can walk then, he said. I can sense you can come out now. The three of them looked up in the sky as a white snake came rushing down. I am the white doom from above, the striker of the skies. I am Shiro-chan, and I don't like you. You smell of blood and snakes, and Kuro-sama told me to keep an eye out for someone like you, and that you would be a sage. A sage of what? Shiro moved back as a black snake emerged on the man's back. Shut your trap, you fropping lizard. No one speaks to the sage of snakes like this, especially another snake, as a white snake came from his other side. Yujito was shocked she was on his back the entire time, but she didn't feel a damn thing. You two, I did teach you silence, didn't I? He said, as the two snakes retreated back into his back. I brought her home. I would like a talk with the Raikage, and without a flying feather duster I need, he said, as he looked towards the flying snake. Well, we can arrange that, but you might want to keep your mouth to yourself, said B. Shiro-chan here has a pretty fiery uncle. As Shiro flew away to warn Kuro, hey, didn't you want to go to the waterfall of truth as a reward for bringing me back? She wondered if he lied to her, and in truth he wanted to try and kill the Raikage. Shiro said that he smelled like snakes and blood. Was he really a sage? Like the toad sage? A snake sage? It couldn't be Orochimaru, could it? The Raikage is for business. The waterfall of truth is for pleasure, he said, as he pulled out a scroll with the land of iron symbol on it. I got a message for the Raikage, and that's final. I'll find him myself if I have to. Yujito was shocked. Was he the messenger from Land of Iron? So you're the samurai, huh? Well then, let's go, Daru, said B. As they made their way in the village, Yujito saw people waving at her, as they saw that she was okay. As she was being tackled by a purple kunoichi. Yujito-chan, my drinking buddy's back. Uncle was rather tipsy when she hugged her though. It looked rather, well, seductive. As Daru averted his gaze, as B scratched his cheek. I'm glad to see you too, Uncle-chan, but now is not the moment. We're escorting a messenger to the Raikage. As Uncle turned towards the stranger, his eyes were a slight purple. His hair was blonde, with red stains in it, and his cheeks were covered in scales of black and white. As Uncle stepped forward, it was probably because she was tipsy and couldn't see well, but something was up about him. Thank you, Mr. Messenger-san. I got my drinking buddy back, she said. It's not the same without someone to drink with, you know? As she stumbled forward and fell, right in his chest, as she felt him lift her up and place her back on her footing. You need to be careful, you could have died, he said, as she realized that his jacket was hissing. My, that's just like him. Hey, tell me, who taught you that, she asks. I will not answer that question, he says. He turned to me. The Raikage office is this way, right? I will find it on my own if we don't start moving again, he said. I'll talk to you later, Uncle, said Yujito. But Uncle wasn't focused on her. Why? It's just like him, she thought to herself, as she made her way towards the cemetery of Kumo. Yujito raised the eyebrow and she followed the man. The Raikage clearly wanted to see her as well. Meanwhile, A was behind work schedule, as no one so far was able to find Yujito, and 3 days had passed. Perhaps she gave in, but at least she was with Naruto now. He grimly thought that, until B entered with Daru and an unknown man dressed in black and white. Yujito, he said in shock. Hey bro, cool down, cat's safe. But you talk first to the man here, because he's someone important, said B. As Raikage pried his eyes off of Yujito, as the man handed him a scroll and he took it, he opened it. As he read it over, the Raikage clenched his fist once he was finished. so the bastard didn't just kill him. He removed the tail beast from within him. That sick bastard. So you're Tarna, the best tracker of the Land of Iron, right? Tarna nodded, with a small grin, as Yujito growled. She was about to pound on him, but B kept her back, pushing her to stay calm. She was really pissed off. She spent so long asking his name, and yet, he didn't want to tell her, and no, he just revealed it on the fly. So I suppose I should get my two best trackers, but one is based on the extract mission, and the other one is Yujito, who's gonna take a long rest, so she's out of the equation as well. Since I want daily reports, I'll have to send Mabi-san with you. Can we wait until the Konoha team comes in? Tarna simply shrugged, as his eyes wandered as he saw a drawing of the Raikage raining lightning down on his enemies. That's the interest in art. Your son production, he said. The ear cracked slightly with lightning. If you have been sent to track the new Kaibijin down, then I suppose you know of the past one. And if you have a death wish, I suggest you watch what you say. Because if the man knew that the past one was dead, he knew that that boy was Raikage's son. As Tarna felt his stomach twirl. Not that I care what happened to Kumo, but without me, it's a Land of Iron you're gonna face. I'm a neutral entity in all of this. If I make a offense, write a letter to Mifune-san. I thought the Land of Iron had smart people, not loudmouth idiots, said the Raikage. And I thought the Raikage was a tough man, that was able to control his emotions. But you have kids drawing on your wall. Do you wear pink at home? Well, it's not like I give a damn. The more he was speaking, the more his stomach twisted in pain. And I got a job to do. The sooner you get me the two damn ninjas, the sooner I get this job done and get back home. I'm sure that you can arrange your own stay, the Raikage said, as he let the man leave. After that, Yujito gave a report. How she was captured by two immortal beings because no matter how much she struck them, they would not fall. And then she was saved by that man, who had talking snakes. And not to mention he seemed to be rather rude towards the Kyuubi Jinchuriki. Maybe he'd lost someone to a Jinchuriki going mad. He didn't seem to throw hateful gaze towards us, but he spoke disrespectfully about Naruto. Whenever the argument came to the Kyuubi Jinchuriki, he acted like he loathed him, said Yujito. But that didn't make any sense. It meant that the man had met up with Naruto one time, maybe in Konoha. Maybe a parent of one of Naruto's victims came from the Land of Iron. Maybe it was him. Meanwhile, as Tarna made his way, as he couldn't believe it when he smelled it, Uncle being here startled him. But this was just a shock to his very soul. He couldn't believe it. As Tarna slowly walked inside of Ichiwaka Ramen, it has taken back its early attire of a stall instead of a restaurant. Did the restaurant fail without Core around to make giant orders, or without him to pay with his gambles? No, not him. That idiot was dead, killed and buried. He slowly took a seat as the owner took a winks. I'm sorry, sir, but that seat is reserved. As Tarna, sit down to the seat next to that. Thank you. What may I bring you? Asked Tuki. What's this Naruto special? It's a 5 kilo ramen order. If you can finish it in less than 10 minutes, it's free. No one has managed it so far, said Tuki. I'll take one then, said Tarna, as Tuki went to prepare the broth, then the noodles, as he heard voices behind him. Fate, as declared that we meet again today, my love. He heard slaps behind him. Stop with the fate crap already. Fate wishes for us to have ramen before we... Another round of slaps, as two people sit to Tarna's left, seeing that none of them sit in the reserved seat. Tuki, are you preparing another Naruto special? The girl spoke with a brash attitude, as she sat right next to Tarna. On the other side, a man in a white robe with a calm face was sitting down. Yes, Shoko-chan. The man beside you was challenging the mountain, said Tuki, as he brought the bowl in front of the man. As he brought the chopsticks, as Tuki started a 10-minute timer. 2 minutes later, he was done. The look on Tuki, Shoko, and Yogoro's face was priceless. Another one, please. It took a moment to snap Tuki out of his shock. Another? Said Shoko. Do you have a stomach or an endless pit? I'll answer that question if you tell me. Who's reserved that seat? Oh, it's for one of our friends. We're all waiting for him to come back, she said in a sad tone. Well, my stomach is an empty pit, he said, as Tuki brought the other bowl, as he started to eat once again. The second bowl was finished within 3 minutes, as he asked for some water as he gulped it down. That hit the spot, said Tarna. Fate has decided that your stomach is unlimited, said Yogoro, as Shoko didn't feel to smack her boyfriend down. because he was correct. So it seems, as he raised a hand to Toki. Well, it seems my ramen supply is finished for today, said Toki, as he couldn't believe that man ate 2 bowls so quickly. And that wasn't ordinary, those bowls were gigantic. Maybe it's fate, telling you not to eat today. As Shoko smacked the crap out of her boyfriend, as Tarna made his way towards the cemetery. As he walked around, as he made his way toward the spot where Kages were supposed to be buried, as he saw Toshinobu standing outside, guard. Inside was a half-sleeping purple Kunoichi. Naruto, son of the Raikage, lies here. May he find peace wherever he went, possibly somewhere with ramen. He whispered the words that were on the tombstone. The words that he told Kuro all those years ago. Well, not he. The boy that died. He wasn't Naruto, correct? So it was obvious he wouldn't have said that. The 2 guards said nothing, after all it was a public spot. But they did not wake up Anko because she was sending her snakes after them. What surprised them was the man stepping outside with Anko in his arms, as she kept on sleeping. Where does this woman live? The man asked. The guards thought that he was doing a good action, just bringing her back home. And Anko looked like she was awake, probably faking sleep. As Tarna got what he wanted, as he made his way off, as he got her home, as the couch was a giant anaconda. Familiar, said Tarna, as he scratched his sneak on top of his head, as he placed her down. His hand was grabbed. Please, stay. Turn back towards her. Go to sleep, he said, and stop drinking so much steak. It's bad for your liver. As the sleeping toxin on his gloves put her to sleep rather quickly. The moment he stepped out, he blocked that slap from the two-tailed Jinchuriki. What did you do to her? She wouldn't let this rude man get away with jogging. And if he did something to her friend, he was so gonna pay Iron Line or not. Nothing. I found her drunk on a tomb. I asked the guard for her address and brought her home. How did you enter her apartment then? The snakes they would... So you are a snake stage then, she said. Who taught you? Was it Orochimaru? Are you a spy from the sound? He simply sidestepped her and started to walk. Hey, where the hell do you think you're going, she said. Camping outside. I'll find a cave and sleep there. You're right, I did say I must find my own lodging. You got no money for a hotel? She was surprised. Did this trucker go around without any cash? I do, but I don't want to. I prefer to stay in caves. They're better, he said. She frowned at his words, but she kept on following him until they reached the hill of snakes. You can't go there, she said. It's occupied. They won't let you sleep there. At least not someone as rude as you. Guess I'll prove you wrong then. She paused. Kuro and his family was gonna trash him out. Maybe slash him a bit with their blades. Kuro was a summoned snake, so he was not bound by laws. Snake sage or not, Kuro is gonna snatch you. When you learn how you think of my little brother, she said. That is why she stood and waited. And half an hour passed but nothing happened. It got pretty late as she wondered, did Kuro eat him? She would check on the situation tomorrow. No need disturbing his sleeping and probably digesting Kuro. Meanwhile, you're the most dumb, sadistic, idiotic. For the past hours, Kuro has been insulting him. Pops, a snake as big as Manda entered. You use all the curse words I know. I want to get a shot at him, that was unfair. Hey, said Turner. Don't aim me, you damn idiot. You made me think that you were dead. You could have summoned me months ago. Months. And you're fine, right? As he checked him out with his large blue eyes. You do seem healthy enough. I'm fine, Kuro, Mom, said Turner as Kuro dropped him up in his tail. The moment he let him down, he was enveloped by Yuro. You made me cry rivers, boss. And instead you were out with that beautiful angel. You better introduce us, you got that? And I want to know everything that happened. Pop has been writing at you for hours now. We sniffed your body, your dead body. And it was just like yours. Fine, I'll explain, said Turner, as he gestured for Yami-chan and Hikari. Stay closer. This is Yami-chan, great-great-great-granddaughter of Hakicho. And Hikari-kun is a great-nephew of Manda. Don't worry, they won't judge you for that, said Naruto. Well, we can't choose our family, said Kuro. My son's a low talker who can't stay quiet to save his life. I can be quiet, said Yuro, as Turner looked around. As Kuro looked around as well. Sharu, come out here, he said. As the snake lowered itself, it landed right on Kuro's head. So he's the boss. Well, sorry for treating you badly. I didn't know. You could have said something. As Tarna jumped up and patted her on the head. It's quite alright, he said. Well, it's a very long story, so let us get comfortable. Flashback. Naruto had been beaten. Severely beaten by Hakijo. Tail. It seemed impossible what he could summon smaller replicas of himself to attack Naruto while he tried to gather nature energy. They pounced and they bit him repeatedly. Blood leaked from his wounds and they did not heal. He no longer had the Kyuubi and he no longer had the awesome regeneration powers. He was just a ninja getting beaten up by a stronger foe, and he didn't have his chakra to help him. You are not concentrating, the snake said. After hours, you lack realization and hindsight. I lack chakra. Sanin-sama Naruto cursed. He was sweating hard, blood covered his entire body. Chakra? You think chakra would work against me? As Hakijo draw on his cigarette before blowing it right in your direction. As Naruto coughed, now you have chakra. Let's see if it will change anything. The beating increased, they were faster. The hits were stronger and more painful. He couldn't even wield hand sign, he didn't have a chance to do a single thing. You have chakra now and yet. What now? What excuse are you gonna come up with? None. I have none, Sanin-sama said Naruto. As Hakijo smirked as he slipped out of the room. He closed the only entrance to the rock, leaving Naruto there. As Naruto dropped face first on the ground, panting hard. He was his prisoner, there was no way out of there until he became strong enough, or cunning enough to escape. This senjutsu, whatever it was, it didn't need chakra. But the sage had given it to him, and left him there in the dark cave. As he stood up, his stomach rumbled hard. He sighed as he looked around. He saw the carcasses. Were they truly the people that failed the test, and they became like this, decrepit monsters? Would he be forced to devour them to survive this test? Was this another one of the snake plans of his resolution testing? I lack concentration, so let's concentrate, said Naruto, as he closed his eyes from where he was, as he ended up falling asleep until he coughed as he was enveloped in smoke. The next thing he knew, the snake sage was there once again, and the attacks began once again. As he fought back, he tried to dodge as best as he could. He couldn't die here. He had somewhere to return back to, as he had to survive. He grabbed one of the smaller snakes and bit into it, tearing away the chunk of flesh. As he became feral, his mouth was filled with blood. As he ripped into it and many others, Hakijo winced as the boy actually tried to take a bite out of him, the great snake sage, the leader of all snakes. The boy tried to beat him. The boy had no idea what was going on with his body. When he was being left alone, that it was changing little by little. Orochimaru had tried, but he had failed to prove his resolution. But the boy was past that stage already, and he was stepping into the other stage. Hakijo didn't thought that the boy would tap into nature engine that quickly, but he had. It was Hakijo's smoke that kept him from transforming into a fully snake when he lost himself many times. Despite him thinking that everything was fine, it was not. His body was going through changes after changes. But his mindset was still there. He was focused, he was ready to leave. And Hakijo just gave him a few words and he was able to think. He was smart. As the boy was battered and Hakijo was done, as he turned to leave, he heard something behind him. More. I'm not done yet. The snake grinned. You could feast upon the eggs of the hatchery, you know? I won't lock you in. You just have to follow the right side of the cave. No, said Naruto as he sat down. I'll wait for the next training then. As the snake simply left. But this time he did not place a giant stone behind him. He left it open. The boy would fall to hunger eventually. As Hakijo sat on his throne, he waited until he felt the boy moving. He was going to the hatchery to eat the eggs. A liar he was then. Well, he would pay for it next time in their training. But Hakijo felt him carrying another carcass. Why? Hakijo was confused. As Hakijo peeped, what he saw surprised him. The boy was feeding the recent hatched eggs with the carcasses. The ones that didn't listen were torn apart. But the ones that did, they fell under his command rather quickly as he fed them all. Interesting. The flashback was interrupted. That's where he met me, said Hikari. I was getting badly beaten up by my brothers and sisters, but he shielded me with his hands. Despite them biting into his flesh, he shielded me and fed me. Yes, we get it. You were the first snake, said Yami. Let him talk more. The next part is a lot better. You were raised eye at that, but he said nothing. As Karno continued. Flashback. So who is he? Hakujo asks. He's Hikari. As Naruto looked toward his head where the snake was. And he's my friend. You don't intend to feed upon him, Hakijo said, as his snake scales start to appear once more. No, he's my friend. I told you I won't back down on my words. I'll make you see you're wrong. Hakijo grinned as he started the attack, as Hikari surrounded the boy's head like a bandana. Once his hair became too sweaty, and he would slip off. He's slowing you down, said Hakijo. Abandon him, or you won't manage to feed. So what, said Naruto, as he tried but failed to bite upon one of those snake scales. It just means I'll be hungry, until he can hunt with me, then the both of us will eat, said Naruto. Or you will die now. As more than 20 of the small scales jumped on the boy. There, now he will learn how to... Hakijo paused when the boy curled himself up in a ball, protecting the snake with his life. Hakijo let the snakes feast upon him as he ripped into his flesh, tearing into his back, but he did not cry. He did not scream, he just held tightly. After a while the snake stopped, as he retrieved his scales. He then turned. Well, tomorrow, when this happens again, you will find out that hunger and a battered body won't get you food. As he closed the rock door, the boy was determined, but he needed to understand. True strength came from one, not two. Everyone lived alone, and they all died alone. He had grown up on that. He had no use for friends or family, nothing that wasn't useful, and he has to learn eventually. When Hakijo returned the next day, he saw the small snake was gone. So you ate him? No. Let's train and you'll find out, said Naruto. The white snake sage grinned. He knew exactly where the small snake was. They thought they could outsmart him. The arrogance. He was fast despite his size, and they will learn that. The training went on as he beat the living crap out of Naruto. But the snake did not move from its hiding spot, as he was about to retrieve his snake scales. That was when Hikari came out and sliced at it, the tail ripping into one of the snakes, tearing it open. As Hikari grabbed it and brought it over to Naruto. I saw how you have these things stiffen up before they enter your body, so I gave Hikari wind chakra to do it, said Naruto. How? The white snake sage was questioning Naruto for the first time. It was the first time he questioned somebody about something that he did not know. Just one day, and he taught something to Black Snake to make him be able to cut down their lunch. This is a fruit of our labor. We work together, and we both get stronger, said Naruto. And I know I'm right, and I'll keep proving it to you, Sanin-sama. End of flashback. And then he laughed, said Turner. He just laughed. He almost choked on his cigarette. A couple weeks later, Big Sister Yami joined the group. Big Sister Yami, said Yuro. Why wasn't I ever called brother? Well, technically, your father Kuro here is my best friend and brother, so I would be your uncle. So if you want to be called something, you're my nephew. As she was older, well, it depends on the physique and the mind. The body grew faster, the speeches that Hakujo belonged to. So basically I was a giant white snake, with the mindset of a little girl. And Hikari, they taught me how to speak. Wait, so how the hell did you think you're dead, said Kuro. Well, that was something interesting I learned. But guys, be in subscribe right here. If you want the next person to do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. And share this to all of your friends in social media platform. But I'm out for now, see you guys soon. Peace.